Good morning, Linux lovers. My name's Wimpy. Welcome to my world. How are you all today? Right, I thought we'd go hunting for a graphical user experience on Docker this morning. So let's just send a couple of messages to a couple of places. Right, so if you're watching this on YouTube, this was originally recorded live on Twitch TV/Wimpy's World on the 3rd of September. So if you want to participate in these live, then come and give me a follow over there. I do these streams most mornings, weekdays, and a couple of evenings on sort of an ad hoc basis. It's usually Linux related stuff. Hey Danny, good morning, how are you doing? And Takov, welcome back. DGM, thank you for stopping by. I don't think I've seen you in the stream here before. Thanks for dropping in. Oh wow, hang on a minute. Hello Will. How very nice to see you. Welcome. Yeti Ops. It's lights on and away we go. Yes, indeed. I have actually fiddled with the lighting today. So Danny says, I can finally fix my Twitch name tomorrow. Yes, that's brilliant. What is your new Twitch name going to be? Is it going to be Diddle Danny or just Danny? So Will says he's just updating some docs. Thought he'd drop in for a listen. Good. Hello, Yannick. Welcome back. Diddle Danny. Okay, I'll try and use that whilst I can remember. The same as your Telegram. So Takov says, I have 2k point here and I have the power to ban an IRL word on the stream. Okay. I'd forgotten about those. Please don't. I failed miserably last time somebody did that to me. Welcome back, Jeff. How's things? And Henrik. Hello. That shouldn't be too difficult. We could ban that. No. Right, Henrik, you're not helping. DJ Aja. Hello. Thanks very much. You enjoyed my stream from 2 days ago. Was that the stream here or the stream on the Slim DevOps channel, Dr. Aja? Hey Big Pod. Big Pod, you may have some insight on this topic. Need to mute for a while. Work is calling. All right, Yannick. Okay, well, I'll see you soon, I'm sure. Yeah, so I stream obviously here. So was it this channel, Dr. EJ? Is that what you're saying? Right. So this is not in response to Docker's license change for Docker Desktop. I've been thinking about doing this topic for over a week now, and it's specifically about finding a third-party graphical user interface for Docker for the Linux desktop. And I did go looking some weeks ago, like ages ago, and I found several just by scouring GitHub, and then due to reasons lost my bookmarks, or not my bookmarks, lost my tabs. So I'm going to have to do that discovery again. So maybe we can do this together. So the plan is to go and find some decent quality looking graphical interfaces for Docker that work on the Linux desktop. And this is really because why not? You know, we for so many years using the Linux desktop, I was in the wilderness, you know, impoverished of good quality applications, and that's not the case anymore. So why don't we go and find some, you know, glossy and some new shiny, and enjoy, you know, what Linux can be on the desktop. Even for, you know, us developers apparently like to do things the hard way all the time, which isn't actually true. Sometimes having some creature comforts is nice. Thanks, Dr. EJ. Thanks for confirming which channel you were watching. You're going to save your points for another occasion. Yeah, do that. So something else I want to start working on is some kind of like bot to do integration, so you can do more interesting interactive things with channel points. I've got some ideas. Then there's a heavy lift there, but that's something we could have some fun developing. Diddle Danny says it's annoying that Docker hates Linux users. Well, not for the Docker engine, of course. I mean, you can understand why Docker Desktop exists for Mac and Windows, because they're running Linuxy stuff on not Linux, so it makes a bit of sense there. But there's no reason why we can't have something shiny, I don't think. So Yetiop says I use Portainer. I think that was one that I saw. For container managers, it's web-based but useful. Okay. And Yetiops goes on to say that they mostly manage from the terminal anyway. Yes, as I have been doing. But I thought, I wonder what I might see about my, Docker setup. Which actually, on this machine, I was messing around. I may not even have Docker installed at all. This may be completely fresh in that regards, because it was a new build recently and I've removed a bunch of stuff. So Takov says the free community version does lack user permission capability, but it's indeed a good web UI. And I think, Takov, you're referring to Portainer in that there. Good morning, Mindy. Welcome back. And Mindy says they haven't felt the need for a GUI for their one node Docker servers. It's quite useful for their Docker swarm though. Okay, and Mindy's also referring to Portainer. Okay, welcome back, Paul. Hey Mark, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. And Big Pod says, even when I use Windows, I don't use Docker Desktop because it is just bad. Well, there we go. There's a statement. So let's just head over here, and I'll bring down a browser. Let's see what we can find. Whoop. Oh, hello. Oh, I've done this again. I forget that I have to actually change scenes. Let's try this. Right then, there we go. So Portainer seems to be what people have been talking about, so let's go and take a look at that. There's a Docker image for Portainer, okay, and there's a website for it. So here we go. It says enabling containers as a service for your business. Okay, so this looks quite enterprisey.
Portainer's powerful application deployment, governance and security, observability, and platform capabilities allow for users with different requirements to have...
Okay. I don't know why that suddenly decided to mute. It wasn't me. Right, okay. So, and Takov says, I've come across Docker to run desktop apps. Okay. So, whilst Portainer looks interesting, and I wouldn't rule something like this out, I was wondering if there was some sort of actual, like, desktop app. I'm not thinking, GTK or Qt necessarily, something that runs on the desktop rather than a web app. Let's see what we can find. Visual container management for Mac and Windows. Okay, well, we can close that one straight away. Docker Web UI, Lazy Docker. I think this was one that I found before. That's obviously for running graphical apps in a Docker container. Here's Portainer again. Wonder what that is. So anyone got any suggestions? You can go hunting too if you find anything interesting. I think this may have been, yeah, this was one I definitely saw. So this wasn't graphical, but it did look kind of nice, right? This could be a command line love of the Ubuntu podcast. This one. Yes, I did see this before, and I thought that looked pretty. But it's not quite what I was thinking of. So I'll keep that one open. We'll just go looking. So Docker GUI. This looks like it's kind of being maintained. But, oh no, hang on. This is running GUI applications in Docker. No, that's not what we're after. So, awesome Docker on GitHub. Okay, Mindy, that's a good suggestion. Let's go and look there. So let's go and look at awesome Docker. I'm going to guess it's this one. Here we go. What have we got here? Awesome Docker. So, user interface desktop. Ooh, right. Okay, so obviously Docker desktop. Okay, let's. Oh, Electron. I love a bit of Electron. Me. Let's. And also, I know Will is in here. That's Will Cook, who was my predecessor at Canonical, and he loves Electron too. He particularly loves how much RAM it uses. Lamp. That's not really what we're after. Docker Station. Let's have a look at that. Lifeboat. An easy way for your Mac. Simple Docker built on Electron. Okay, that could be interesting. So loads of terminal stuff. So let's go and look at these. So Docker on, this doesn't look like it's maintained anymore. No activity for 4 or 5 years. Let's get rid of that. Okay, what have we got here? So let's just, I'm just going to go over here because I can see chat went by and I missed a few things. So redeemed word ban. Oh, I haven't been told what word it is. What word was it? Takov. I've just seen that there was something went by. So, yes, we're looking at that. Will tells me to get out. The best argument I've ever had was with you over RAM use of Electron applications. Right then. Right, okay, see you, Big Pod. At the risk of sounding naive, what's wrong with VS Code Docker extension? So that's Meridian asked that question. Nothing. I was just curious to see if there was a simple graphical UI to give you like an overview of like what images and containers you've got on your system. And I know you can do some cool stuff with the Docker extension, but that's not what I was looking for. I'm looking for something akin to Docker Desktop, but for Linux users. UIs are for losers. Okay. Tell me which terminal you're connected to Twitch with at the moment, Yannick. So quick story, Takov says, regarding Portainer. Had a VPS shared with a friend. He locked me out as an April Fool's joke. He had access to the Portainer as a restricted user, which forbid me to remove already existing containers. However, I was able to spin up a new one, so I just started an Alpine with host root mounted in Munt. Okay.
Thank you for the follow, Meridian J0NSET.
Well, there we go. Meridian Johnset, I think that is. I'm not quite sure. You can never quite tell where the gaps in the word should be. Hi. Do you know for the new category on Twitch? So that's Matco asked that question. I'm not sure what you're driving at, Matco. Do you know for new category on Twitch? I don't know what you're referring to. Please, can you elaborate? Oh dear, and by doing that you're able to get root on the host. Oh dear, Takov. Ban of... It doesn't actually say. Oh, yes it does. Okay, I suck. I suck at my job. All right. Right, okay, I'll have to have a think about... I could be rather cheeky. Right then. So Will says, I think you've won re-Electron. If I was writing a UI app today, I would just do it in Electron. Life is too short. Yeah, there is a bit of that for sure. Okay. Okay. Wow, there's a lot of chatter today. Thank you very much for being so talkative. Right then, come on then. Let's see. What others can we find here? This also looks ancient. So I think that's a non-starter. Simple Docker UI, also ancient. Although that does look like what I had in mind, you know, something nice and easy. Not going to get invested in something that's very old. So this is kind of fun. Written in Go, so that should be nice and easy to get up and running. I might take a look at that one. That tickles me, that one. Okay. Mindy says that Flutter's a really nice project for desktop and mobile applications. Yes, it is, and Will and I both had a hand in bringing that to the Linux desktop via Ubuntu. And you know, I watched that progress with keen interest. I think that could be quite significant for, you know, the next generation of desktop applications to make their way to Linux, you know, for people that are developing primarily for Mac and Windows, being able to target Linux. I think that could be big for us in probably 18 months to 2 years, something like that. Called Software and Game Dev. Okay, Matco, thank you for doing that. Software and Game Dev. Well, let me just quickly edit the stream info and see if I can find that one. No, I can't find software and game dev. I have found some of the software development categories, but not that concatenation. But thank you for the notification. It was somebody recommending here the other day that Linux was now a tag on Twitch that alerted me to that. Ooh, okay. So Tango has found a project. Let's go and take a look. Right then, here we go. Okay, well, first of all, I can see there's activity in this project, although last release was in 2019. Oh, and this is another terminal one. Okay, so definitely one to keep on the highlight, but none of these really seemed to be actively developed. Let's go and look at Lifeboat and see if by chance that's grown Linux support. Oh, that hasn't been updated for years either. Okay, it seems to me that Awesome Docker for the desktop side of things is not all that awesome. Did all of these things stop being developed because Docker Desktop made an appearance, do you think? Do you think that's it, and there's little motivation to develop a graphical user interface for Linux because there's not enough gravity around desktop Linux to make it worthwhile? So I wonder if we just do this. Let's just check that this version in Git is not newer. It doesn't look like it. This Docker station was the one that sounded the most useful. Last release. Okay. Requirements. Oh no. No. Not VirtualBox. I don't think so. Okay. So yes, that one was Tango. That one was good. It looks like we might be finding ourselves looking for a decent terminal version rather than anything else. So, oh, hello, Paul. Paul has an update. Paul is running the Linux distro that I maintain, which is Ubuntu Mate. And he says he has an OS update. I now have Ubuntu running on all of my machines. Okay, well that's a win for the Chelsea Cucumber team, then, isn't it? Fantastic. What caused you to upgrade everywhere? So, for those of you that aren't following along on this journey of discovery that Paul is on, he was using Ubuntu with GNOME Desktop, but he found that the fans kept kicking up when the machine was idle. So he switched to Ubuntu Mate and has found peace, quiet and tranquility as a result, which is always good. And looks like Paul has made the switch to Ubuntu Mate across all of his machines for desktop consistency. That's great. Yannick says he wants to learn Flutter. Yeah, I did the very minimum of learning Flutter. Well, actually, I say learning Flutter, learning Dart, really. Oh, right. So Takov suggests is Cockpit Docker. So I do use Cockpit, although I don't think I have it installed on this machine at the moment, but that's not a problem. So let's go and look at... So for those of you that aren't familiar, Cockpit is well, it's kind of like Munin, if you ever used Munin for like system monitoring. But it's like for the modern day, so you can do system monitoring and visibility and some sort of management tasks. So Cockpit. Let's find actual Cockpit. And in fact, Martin Pitt, that used to work at Canonical, when he left to go and work on this. So here we go. This is what Cockpit looks like, and it is it looks like well, you access it through the web, but it runs as its own daemon, and you can see, you can access a bunch of different features. But there's like I'm not sure you could call them plugins, but there's like different capabilities that you can add. So there's like a core set of functionality, and then there's functionality that exists in add-ons. So is this what you're referring to, Takov, that there's a Docker piece for Cockpit? If so, that could be worth a look. I quite like Cockpit. Like I say, I do use it. And gosh, so much chitter chatter. So Yannick's going to get on stream and make a Flutter app. Okay. And Diddle Danny says, how long previous to the announcement were Canonical and Google working together on Flutter? Nearly a year, I think. Nearly a year. About probably 9 months, something like that. Cockpit Docker gives a rather limited overview. Okay, well, that's one to put in the bag of things to go and seek out. Bed says, hi, now there are software and game development if you want to program. Yeah, I will definitely be I'll seek out those additional tags. I have been using some of the software development tags already, and desktop development and stuff like that. Oh, category, not tag, an actual category. Oh, really? Interesting. Okay, thank you. I'd missed the point entirely. And Matco, thank you. Thank you, the two of you, for clarifying that. I now understand. I'll have a look at that. What I have noticed is, though, is that the science and technology category, which I'm streaming in now, you don't need a huge number of viewers to actually bubble up to like the top of that. And there's over 600,000 people that follow that category. So even with fairly modest viewership, you can actually appear quite high up there. But then again, if there's a new category, then it will be easy to float to the top of that. But the question is how many people are following it? But thank you. In fact, let's do this now. Let's go to Twitch and find that category and go and have a look. We'll just need to mute that site. Oh, that was a bad idea. Yeah, no, that's fine. Mute that site, go to browse, and you're saying that there is a software and development. I'm not seeing it yet. Okay, I don't see it, but I don't I'm. Oh, here we go. Oh no, tags. I don't want to search tags, do I? Okay. So I can't see it in the list here. And out of interest, let's just go and look here. Do we appear anywhere here? No, I'm very. Oh no, there I am. Look, I'm fairly near the top. I'm, fairly near the top there. So okay, I'll go looking. But as you can see, 620,000 people following this. But I'll go and find the other one. Let's just do software. And is it going to find the category? No. Ah, here it is. Here it is. Okay, so I will follow this. That's the category there, software and game development. Okay, I will think about that because there are some streams that I do that are absolutely just sort of like actual straight up development. So I will consider this one for when I'm doing that sort of thing. But that's very helpful. Thank you. Right. Thank you. That was great feedback. Really helpful. Right then, let's go and have a look here. Yes, okay, so we've now established it's a category. Okay, good. Okay, let's have a look. I'm wearing my Ubuntu Mate t-shirt. Nice one, Yannick. I had mine on yesterday. Not that anyone. Oh no, did I have it on yesterday? No, or the day. Oh, I had it on recently. I think it was yesterday. Right then, Tango says this appears to be maintained recently. Unless, let's go and have a look. Ooh, Dockley, nice name. Okay. Yes, recent releases. It says Immersive Terminal Interface. Oh, wow, another terminal one. So it does seem that we're turning up quite a lot of terminal options here. So this one's written in Node. Okay, right. That's one to bear in mind. We've now got 3 terminal projects. I think I'll put that one there. So we've got this one, which is Lazy Docker. We've then got this one that was just suggested, Dockley, and then we've got this one which looks a little bit old, so that's why it's down my list, but it's GUI. Okay, so thanks for that. Keep the suggestions coming in if anyone can sleuth around and find a new UI. Hello, Luke. How you doing? Welcome back. Haven't seen you for a while. Is family well? Yeah, Munin doesn't scale very well. I mean, it was great, but as soon as you get loads of servers, it doesn't scale. It's fine for your NAS at home or a couple of small things, but it's not great on smaller devices like the Pi. So Docker Cockpit Docker is still maintained, however, and Red Hat preferring Podman, of course. Yes, there is Podman. So Luke says canonical Flutter. There were a lot of requirements that went back and forth. Was semi-considered for web dev too. Yes, and Luke, in fact, was involved in the discovery on that. You did a proof of concept project alongside the desktop team using Flutter to turn out a desktop app and a web app using the same Flutter stroke Dart code base. It was good stuff. Yeah, thanks Matco. I think we've dug that category out, and I shall bear that in mind for the future. So, Foreman says when they clicked the science and technology, I was at the top of the list. Oh well, cracky, lucky me. Thank you all very much for stopping by. The only reason that I'm at the top of the list is because you lot are all here. And then Bazin says, if you develop inside a Docker container, you can just give that container to whoever you want and it'll work regardless of the OS. Yes, indeed. So yes, there was a question earlier saying why was Docker so popular, which I missed when I was going through the questions. Yeah, Docker is a way to develop and deliver your applications, in a consistent fashion. So you deliver a container which has your app and all of its requirements inside it, as opposed to installing lots of different things on the host operating system. And that way you can have lots of different, microservices and web apps and databases and all the infrastructure that drive your application, all isolated from one another, so they can all be managed and deployed discreetly. It's a very powerful... Docker is the means of creating the containers. And Docker is also a runtime for containers, but there are other container runtimes. In what I'm looking at here, I'm really thinking of Docker as the tool to create containers, like on your workstation, and then also, run those containers on your workstation. You can use Docker to run those containers in production, but if you're using something like Kubernetes now to do things at scale, then that uses containerd by default. I think that's default now, right? Containerd is default in Kate's. I'm pretty sure that change has happened now. Okay, so I've got a thing here, so let's copy this. So I don't think this therefore will be packaged yet, but let's go and take a look at what it is. So here's and it's an install script. Okay, as a user module. Okay, when was this? This is relatively up to date. Interesting. Okay, thanks for that, Takov. That's good stuff. And Takov says, have you thought about sharing wiki-like pages for these links and ideas? Yes, I have. So I do have a site which is wimpysworld.com, and that is all auto-generated. It's actually sitting on Tumblr with if this then that sat behind it that automatically splats things in there. In fact, I was just thinking earlier it needed updating with some better integrations for Twitch, for example. But I did think I could use that to capture some notes or something else. I did used to, maintain my blog years ago, but I haven't touched it in such a long time. But I think maybe... for something like this, a Git repository that captures, what we found, and then link that in, because I will eventually put this on YouTube, this live stream, and then in the description link to, a GitHub repository. I think I'll do that for this because, we're going to find some things here. You're welcome. Some of these colours don't work out here so well. So let's just go down the list here. So Foreman, yeah, okay, you're welcome for the explanation. And Runak, I think that's how that's pronounced. Am I from England? Yes, I am. In England, in fact. So, well, it looks like a big fat fail, doesn't it? We've found a load of terminal things, but no graphical things. Welcome back, Yannick. Right then, so let's take a look at this. This was updated fairly recently. And I think this one said it was implemented in Go, so it should be by far the easiest to get running. So let's just open up a terminal. And I can't remember if I have Docker installed or not, actually. So like I say, this was a... Yep, I do have Docker installed. Okay. And do I have Docker? I do have Docker Compose installed as well. Okay, so we should be golden. So if we just go back to here, okay, it says brew install Windows, 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 and then, oh look, it's a curl. Curl to bash. Oh my gosh, this is like, this is how non-Linux people do it. Okay, there we go. So that's going to curl that. So what we'll do is this. Well, oops. In fact, I won't even use curl. I'll let's think. This is a new keyboard and the bindings are a bit different. There we go. So let's go and take a look at that. That's appeared on a different window, so let me just bring that down. There we go. So this is the script it's going to run. So it's going to want to stick it in user local bin by default. That's fine. It's going to figure out the architecture, also fine. It's going to grab... Now, why am I doing this, you might wonder. Never, ever just blindly run shell scripts, wget piped into bash without inspecting what they do first. Even if you're not like super familiar with the shell scripts, if there's anything weird in there, you should be able to spot it. So after it's done that, it then goes and grabs this tarball, it then unpacks it, and it puts the lazy docker binary into user local bin. So I can see that's not doing anything weird. So we will now go back to the terminal. We can make that executable. And I wonder if that's going to ask me for permissions. Yes, there we go. And I should now have lazy docker. Would you like to enable anonymous reporting to help improve lazy docker? Yes, I always like to help open source developers with that. So there we go. I can see a couple of my things here. So I've got a couple of containers there. So if I look at those, I can now, none of them are running, of course. How do I, container is not running, container is not running. Tab, how do I move to the next thing here? Scroll, page up, page down. No, tab. So I'm in there, navigate, view bulk commands, stop all containers, remove all containers. Oh, that's quite handy. Could do that. I don't need to have those containers knocking around because I have the images. How do I switch my view to images exactly? Oh, and that quit. So that was escape queue to close. is it Vim-like navigation? Well, it doesn't say so. It does say down the bottom here that it's cursor keys. So I don't appear to be able to do... Well, I don't appear to be able to... Ah, there it is. You're right. It is. Well, that's... Why does it... So one... Oh, okay. So it's Vim navigation to move between the... What we call these? Windows. And it's cursors to navigate within. Why is it not tab to move between those windows? That would be the more conventional way of doing it. Yes, Linux Pool, I'm with you there. That seems a bit weird. I wonder if we can configure it. Anyway, it's quite nice that. Look at that. I can see what it's derived from. Nice. Nice. Okay, so this is quite straightforward. So I wonder if I can do anything with it. If I go... there we go. So if... Is it B for bulk actions? Prune unused images. Oh, that's quite handy too. Nice. And can I do anything with it though? I mean, once I've got it there, I probably need to go and read what the commands are. But, you know, okay, that's interesting. It's not... This really isn't what I was looking for. I really wanted to find a graphical app. Does it accept mouse clicks? Good question. Fail. Also, welcome. Let's just... Oh, it does. Okay. It does. Okay, that is actually an improvement. Okay, McPhail, that was a good suggestion. So, can I mean... I don't appear to be able to do very much with it other than this, though. At least without reading more about it. But there's one to learn more about for sure. Video tutorial, config docs. Okay, there's Twitch streams, key bindings, usage. Okay. Viewing the state, viewing, attaching to a container service. Restarting. Okay, I'm going to have to go and read how to do that one. That's quite nice. I mean, it's that, but graphical. And I'm not all that fussed about getting into this. I mean, how does this one differ? Well, let's go and give it a go. So, it assumes you're running macOS according to that, so I wonder if there is a... Is it npm? Oh yeah, it's npm. Okay. Let's go and see if that's going to work. I don't know if I've got npm on this machine. Let's find out. No. Ugh. Look at it all. Right. Here comes all the stuff. A Twitch overlay. That you want to build a Curses style Twitch overlay, Yannick? Yeah. So Paul says it's he's not looked at all the scripts he's run in the past. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't think many people do, but you should. I mean, I'm trying to demonstrate, a good example there, but, ordinarily I would have just looked at that in the GitHub project. Yes, let's try that again, shall we? Right. So this one's called Dockerly. Okay, so I've got a bit more stuff laid out here now. So I haven't got any containers running, we know that. and I can change across here, copy container shell, restart, start, stop, menu, stop all containers, remove all containers. So it's not showing me my images anywhere though. Because that's what I'm most interested there is, well, what images do I have as well? And I don't see that. Whereas the other one did at least give me that. And it says in the documentation you can connect things. So this is good if you've actually got stuff running, I think, to see like the state of what containers you have running. So probably this is got, I mean, I quite like the way this one works and how it's laid out.
Thank you for the follow, Tishi 2020.
Thanks very much. I think that's probably Tixie. Is it? Tixie 2020? Thanks very much. Hey, Big Pod, welcome back. Yeah, npm is a little bit curl pipe to bash. You end up with stuff scattered to the four corners of your machine, without a doubt. In fact, we did a discussion with Brendan O'Leary from GitLab about, you know, software supply chain attacks and risks and all the rest of it. Okay, and then Maik, hey, welcome back, says, what's on the right? Containers versus images. There was 3 there. Oh, hang on. Let's... Yeah, how do I get there? Okay. No. Yeah, I mean, it's not showing them. There are images on the machine, as I can demonstrate. There we go. We don't need Hello World anymore, do we? There we go. So, yeah. Okay, that's... Yeah, it doesn't give you a means to sort of interrogate those images, though. Which, you know, is fine. I mean, I can see why that's, you know, less valuable. And this one's quite a lot older. So that I've got it does give you an image list. And a container list. And a volume list and a network list. Okay, that looks quite interesting. So you can search and pull. Okay. And it's written in Go, okay. Nix, and you can actually run it from within Docker as well. Nifty. Okay, I'm not going to install this one because, here we go. There's lazy Docker being referenced there. And you can also look at Docker Vim, manage Docker containers and images in Vim if you're that kind of person. You have to do everything in Vim, and I know there's plenty of you. And then written in Go with the Go CUI library. Okay, well, I suppose the reason I'm not keen to look further is I was really hoping we'd find a maintained web UI, but it looks like Portainer is a web UI that people are using quite a lot, so maybe take a look at that in a later one, and also take a look at Cockpit Docker. In fact, as we're talking about Cockpit, let's get rid of that. Let's go and install Cockpit on this machine. So those of you that haven't seen Cockpit will know what it's all about. Hey, Yannick, thank you very much. That's very kind. Thanks for the sub. So I have a series of scripts, in fact. I think... Yeah, this should work, I think. So let's see how much damage this does. So I keep like all of my dot file and configuration in a thing called, well, I use Yadim. It's basically like a Git type tool. That's fine. That's fine. Why did it moan about that? That's... not Git, Yadim. Right, I'm just going to sort this out here. So behind the scenes, I have my... so it's Yadim is like a Git wrapper to do file management, and I then have the Git for Yadim in Keybase as an encrypted Git repository. So it means that you don't have to use the symmetrical encryption that exists in Yadim if you're putting like your SSH keys in there, because you're encrypting everything using your own encryption keys before it goes into the Keybase encrypted Git. So doing it that way is a bit simpler. So now I've done that, we should be able to, not Git, it's Yadim. We'll pull that config over the top. There we go. And we've now got a conflict to unfiddle. And we will accept the incoming. And get rid of that. I'll check that in later. So in addition to dot files and things, I have like scripts which do stuff. And in here I have a software section, and I have a script called Cockpit, which installs Cockpit. So we'll just run that. I think I might have it on here actually. I can't remember. We'll find out. We'll just run this anyway because it only take a moment. Yeah, turns out I do. So there we go. That's the URL we go to. In fact, let's just copy that. Open this up. So we'll go to the Cockpit UI here. And you log in using your regular user credentials. But what you can also do is if you have it set up on multiple machines, you can, over SSH, it can authenticate to your remote machines as well. So you can actually build up a list here. And I think, yeah, I've got one of my devices at home. So you can get an overview of your whole system. So it says here 2 services have failed, and you can see why. So this one apparently failed to start, interestingly. And you can look at an overview of the system. You know, it's a really nice tool for, you know, getting a little view. Okay, so I don't have PCP for the history installed. That's because this is a workstation. I only install the historical metrics on the couple of servers that I run at home. But this gives you an idea of what you can see here. You can see all your networking stuff, and you can configure some of the networking. Same for this. It'll also tell you about software updates that are outstanding, and you can see what they are before you install them. So this is nice if, like, you know, you're connecting to, you know, a NAS or whatever, and you just want to, you know, casually update things whilst you've got Netflix on in the background. And the storage is quite decent as well. It supports Linux RAID, so you can configure RAID devices and what have you. It's decent, and, you know, all the metrics as well with history should you want it. And it'll also do things like it's got an add-on for, I'm going to say QEMU, for doing virtual machine management as well. But it looks like that Docker thing could be an interesting addition. So I'll have a little read about this one before I go installing it, because I just need to find out where, what did they refer to them as? The plugins, where these plugins or user modules should exist for Cockpit on Ubuntu, where the paths are. But that's Cockpit, and I really quite like it. You can, you know, connect to all your machines from one place. and then aggregate the reporting. And you have low level access, and you can elevate if you are in the appropriate groups. You'll have sort of administrative access to the machine. Right then, so that's that. Let's have a little think. Well, that was interesting, but a little bit disappointing, because I was really hoping we were going to find a shiny graphical application, but apparently not. So let's just look back at these again, see how old this is. Local. Well, let's look at that whilst we're here. Look at that, and that was Mac only, and I think that one hadn't got very much. So let's just take another quick look. 4 years ago. Well, let's see what's in the release. Is it just tarballs? Yeah. Oh, hello. Here we go. Oh, there's an app image. Well, should we give it a go? I wonder if an app image from 4 years ago will work. Okay, we'll give it a try. Ooh. Get deck. What's this? How did I end up here? Formerly Docker stacks. Okay. Oh, for Windows and macOS. Disappointed. Is it definitely just going to say, is there going to be a Linux binary hiding in here anywhere? No. Oh, that's a shame. That looks pretty. Docker Station. Well, let's go and take a look at this. So this is 2019. Download. It does say Linux. Okay. All right, let's give this a go then. Is that a deb? It is. Right, we'll download that. There we go. And simple Docker UI. Let's see. We've got a deb. Well, let's give it a go. I mean, these are almost certainly going to complain about dependency changes if they're from that long ago. And those we've looked at. So let's I am aware. I know what I'm doing. Right then. Let's go and have a look here. So what have we got here? We have Docker UI and Docker Station. Docker Station looked to be the more interesting thing. So, right, let's give this a go. Let's give this a go, see if this is going to work. Oh, it's Dock Station. Dock Station, okay. It's an old Electron build because it's installing gconf2, which is very, well, nothing uses it. Okay. Okay. So, Dock Station, let's run it from the command line and just see what we get. Okay. So, it's opened a GUI. And it didn't spit out a load of errors. So it says here, log into your account or register now. Oh, what does this mean then? Is this something other? Oh, continue as guest. There we go. That's the button we'll push for now. Continue as guest. Doink. Add a new project. Containers. Containers not found. Stats monitor, ports, preferences. Okay. So this as well doesn't appear to list the images at all. Only containers. Okay. Well, that's fine. Oh well, that did something. Okay, that's worthy of further investigation. Hey, Corneli J, is that what we've got there? Okay. And what was the next one? Apt install. Oh, let's try this. Let's do sudo, not sudo. Let's make this one executable, which is the app image. And this is Docker on. So let's try and run that. Okay, what's it saying? Would you like to integrate? No. Yeah, as I suspected. It's an old app image, so I'm not surprised that doesn't work, because I've had mixed success with sort of half-heartedly maintained app images on random projects. They are often missing dependencies, so that's a big fat fail. So DocStation we did, and the other one was simple Docker UI. Simple Docker UI. Okay, and that doesn't install because the dependencies in modern Ubuntu and Debian have moved forwards, and it wants to install something that is no longer part of the stack. So that doesn't work either. So we've got one working GUI, which was DocStation. Oh, hang on, I'm on the wrong screen. There we go. And this is it. So it's wonder if I can do, no, I can't change the font size. Docker, use Docker, Docker machine, general. Okay, so I could probably do something like, if I bring that up there, let's just split that here. Docker run. That should have created a container. Technically should have. There it is. And there's my container. You can now see it. So the container doesn't have logs now. It sends everything. It's the simplest thing ever. So I can stop it. I can restart it. I can remove it info. I can see things about it. I mean, I need telescopic glasses to be able to read what's on the screen here, but there is some information there. Stats, it can see what the memory usage is. Okay, well this is the sort of thing I was looking for, and you can stop it. Let's do that. Is this going to work? No. Can I stop it from here? Is that going to work? There we go. That worked. That button worked. And stats. There we go. Okay, this is the sort of thing I had in mind. So blurry gamer. I'm going to guess that's what it is. So dependency. That's why we should avoid Linux for simplicity purposes. Well, the thing is, there are modern packaging technologies that avoid this, dependency problem. Things like Flatpak and Snap, and AppImage is also supposed to address this, but unfortunately, AppImage doesn't do a particularly good job because it's not contained. You can still end up with not putting all of the things inside the app image that the app image requires, and it will satisfy those missing dependencies from the host operating system, which, as you point out, is kind of like broken by design. But generally speaking, like published applications for Linux from the big vendors, you don't run into these dependency problems. They tend to work very reliably regardless of whether they're shipped as debs or RPMs or snaps or, well, Flatpaks. I don't know there's any vendors publishing Flatpaks. I know the FlatHub community, maintain some stuff. But Yeah, when I deliberately was picking those projects. They were old. They're like 5 years old. I fully expected that some of them wouldn't work. Because they were probably auto-generated by something like
Thank you for the
Electron
follow
Builder
Owen codes.
from 5 years ago. Almost certainly it wasn't going to work properly. But this works fine. There's functionality I would have liked to have seen, which isn't on here. What does add project do? Project name, import. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, this is not bad. This is not bad. Well, there we go. We found one. We have found one Docker UI for the Linux desktop, and it is called, is it Docker Station or Dock Station? Dockstation.io. So there it is. That's the only one. That's the only one that actually did most of what I was looking for and was a graphical application. I haven't seen it put anything anywhere. There's no indicators or anything like that. So it's just a straight up desktop app. And there's a price associated with it. It's free for personal and startups. So this is, the only desktop user interface I was able to uncover. Thank you for the suggestion, Mindy, to go through Docker Awesome. That did turn up some fruit. And then the other ones that were interesting was these terminal apps. So in particular, this one, Lazy Docker, and also Dockly. So of the two, I think once I've learned how to drive this, probably Lazy Docker is the thing that I would look at, because it's implemented in Go and because it doesn't spray a bunch of stuff all over your system when you install it, which is preferable. So there we go. Hello, Popey, arriving fashionably late. Yes, as is your wont. How you doing today? Thanks for stopping by. So we found our app, Popey. We found this thing here called Dock Station, which is a front end. I wonder if can I start this now? I can. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Stats. There we go. Memory, CPU. I mean, this is a very simple app that I wrote in here. It's like the least. It's a pure Python forwarder. Reunited ex-canonical people in the chat today. Right then. So there it is. One tool found. Now, I'm not going to pitch work, but Slim AI. Go to Slim AI. We do Docker UIs much better. So if you want a fully hosted thing, go over there. Well, that was fun. So I think we've got a potential command line love for Ubuntu podcast out of that, which is always good. But I found a little graphical tool that I can have a play with. If any of you find any other interesting Docker user interfaces, do let me know. And if you want to do that, then probably the Discord is the best place to do that. So that's wimpysworld.io/Discord. And the links are in the panels underneath the Twitch stuff. I would like to find some other options. I think probably the web tools are probably the right way to go. Maybe we'll have a look at Podman and things as well in the future. But mission accomplished. There was one after all of that, but the terminal ones seem to be the ones that are getting active development. Right, I think I'm done. I've got a bit of tea left. Has everyone else finished their tea? Right. Well, if you're not following here, do consider giving us a follow. I don't just do developer-y stuff. I do developer-y stuff. It's always Linux-based. So desktop development and messing around with containers and new apps and technologies. And then we also, at the weekends, we do Linux gaming. and we're currently in pre-season practice for our next Hotshot Racing League, where we torture a Threadripper and 3090 GPU as we do we actually do multi-party real-time racing live on Twitch, so zero latency multiplayer racing. So get followed if you want to see something that it blends Linux gaming with torturing OBS and a bunch of high-end parts. It's a lot of fun, and I think we're pushing up a bit this year. We've got some production values. I know there's a video in the works, and we've even 3D printed the trophy from the game. So it's getting serious this year because we're going to be competing for an actual trophy. And it's amazing how much competition a 3D printed trophy can generate. So consider stopping by for that. And I may well be streaming in the evenings a bit more regularly at the moment, because it's at the point now where the next release of Ubuntu is starting to sort of firm up and take shape, and there's a few little rough edges to clean up, and I saw there's some patches that I need to get applied because we've got the new version of Mate in the archive now, and I saw there's a couple of bugs there that we can fix. So I'll be doing that maybe tonight, but if not tonight, definitely either Saturday during the day or Saturday evening. But I suppose that's it for now. Thank you all very much for stopping by again. Thank you to those of you that followed, and particularly those of you that are using your Prime subs. I really appreciate that. That's good. And I think I'm going to get to the point now where I'm going to go rummaging through my box of Raspberry Pi stuff. I've got loads of games consoles to build, and I think that I may start assembling those. So I've got big and small consoles to make, and retro computers as well. And also an FPGA Commodore 64 that I need to work on. So I may actually be bringing that stuff into here at the weekends, because I've got more working space here to work on those sorts of things. Any plans for a Mister? Not the Mister, no, not at the moment at least. I'm doing all of the major 8-bit consoles using a Raspberry Pi, including some very niche parts that I've had imported from different parts of the world that you just won't find in the usual places. I'm not going to say what that's for, but I have one which is going to be very distinctive at least. Some of the others you'll be able to do, some handheld consoles as well, and small actual games cabinets. They're all Raspberry Pi powered, but I've got a full FPGA Commodore 64 implementation, including dual FPGA SID chips as well. So the whole system will be entirely modern silicon, and I've got a case for that and everything. So that is to be assembled, and I'll probably do that here in this office at some point soon. So there's going to be a lot of retro computer builds, and most of them are going to be featuring Linux in some way, because that'll be the OS that goes on all of them, except for the FPGA 64, of course, which I'll probably put one of the modded Commodore ROMs on. So yeah, we'll have some fun. Right then. Thanks everyone for stopping by. Yeah, the Mister's a great thing. I don't know a huge amount about it, but it's one I may get to. But I've got a backlog of at least a dozen builds, so I've got plenty to get through between now and then. And the other thing I'm going to start working on is I've got.
The follow Slowow.
Thanks, Slowow. I think that's how we're saying that. Thank you very much for the follow. I've got 5 or 6 generations of NVIDIA GPU and 4 generations of AMD GPUs and 3 generations of AMD APUs. And I'm going to be setting up a test bench for benchmarking all of those on Linux with some synthetic benchmarks and modern games to sort of show what the generational performance expectations of each of those are. And that's in readiness for Intel to come to market with their Arc GPUs, so we can see when those come out, where do those GPUs fit in like the generational hierarchy of GPUs. And also with things like DLSS and FSR. So DLSS is deep learning super sampling from NVIDIA, and FSR is fidelity super resolution from AMD, which are basically upscaling technology, so you can render the game at a lower resolution but scale it up to say 4K but maintain frame rates. Those technologies are coming to Linux, so I want to get some sort of reference baseline benchmarks in now, so then as those technologies come on we can see, you know, what do they do for enhancing frame rates and stuff like that. And then also some stuff with Thunderbolt. I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I'm keen to work on, and now I've got a space where I can set things up and let those things run. Anyway, so there's a bunch of stuff coming up, some of which will be done live, and then summary versions as videos on YouTube. So if you're not followed on YouTube, that would be welcome as well. youtube.com/Wimpy's World. Right, enough waffle. Have a fabulous weekend, everyone. Have a good Friday, and hopefully I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now.